So one of the most common questions that people ask me in their progression or desire to want to play guitar is they ask me, what kind of guitar should I buy? There's a lot of different things that you're going to want to weigh before you go out and make that decision. But let me go ahead and kind of give you some different facts about every guitar that you can go out and buy. There are three types. There's an electric, there's a steel string acoustic, and there is a nylon string acoustic. They all have their pros and they all have their cons. You can start off with any one of these guitars for around $50 to $125, depending on how much quality, how much money you want to put into it. If you're really not sure how how far you want to take playing guitar, make common sense. Go out and buy one of the cheaper ones. But if you think that you have a real drive to do it, you have big goals, you have real big passions, maybe you have a musical family and it's just, you kind of feel like it's just going to happen, you're going to learn to do this, then feel free to go out and spend a little bit more money. The first guitar I'm going to talk about real quick is the electric guitar. The electric guitar, one of the pros is the strings are smaller. They're not as thick as acoustic strings, so they're easier on your fingers. The downside with an electric guitar is you usually have to have an amplifier wherever you go. So if you're going to be camping, you got to bring an extension cord. You could still play the guitar. It's just usually it's so quiet that it's hard to project, and not people really don't hear what you're playing. So you have to have an amplifier. So you can probably gauge that if you want to get an electric guitar, you're going to have to buy an amp, and you're going to run yourself probably close to $100 to $125 with starting off with an electric guitar. But like I said, it's easier on your fingers, it's easier to press down, and so if that's a real big deal for you, if you're like, if you can't handle pain very much, I would say, you know what, probably an electric guitar is for you. The next guitar I'm going to talk about, actually it's the nylon string guitar. It's actually the next easiest to play on your fingers. Now with a nylon string guitar, there's pros and cons with a nylon string guitar. A nylon string guitar, the strings are nylon. Now the strings are a little bit bigger than electric, but because they're nylon, they're able to be pressed down on the neck of the guitar easier. And so it's easier on your fingers. They're not as torn apart as you would be playing a steel string acoustic. The con about a nylon string guitar is the neck is wider. So even though the strings are softer, the neck is wider, so you have to move your fingers up and down. There's a farther stretch in order to make the chord sound clear. So that you can get a nylon string guitar for around $50 to $150, and that's not including a pickup or a place for your cord to be plugged in to plug into a sound system. That's just a guitar. It has no pickup or plug into it. So if you want to do that, that's a good way to go. If you want to buy a steel string acoustic guitar, the neck is not as wide as a nylon, so you don't have to stretch as far, but it is the hardest guitar as far as for your fingers. It actually just, you can really, sometimes you'll play a guitar so long that when you let go and you're stopping playing, you'll see lines across your fingers just because your fingers have been pressed down on a very small string for a long period of time. And those are just three different things that you want to take into consideration, three different guitars. Weigh the pros and cons. Think, man, I feel like, man, I'm a glutton for pain. I don't care. And I want to just, go crazy. Maybe a steel string is for you. Another big thing in making this decision is what style of music you want to play. This is probably actually the most important thing, because if you want to play hard rock, you're not going to go buy a nylon string guitar. It's not meant for it. If you want to play softer stuff, you might not want an electric guitar. You might want a nylon or a steel string guitar. So really dependent on what is your favorite style of music, or what do you see yourself playing the most of. then kind of gauge the purchase based upon where you see you're going to be spending the majority of your time playing. So a couple different things to consider before you buy a guitar. And I hope this helps with that question. Like I said, it is probably one of the most common questions, and usually people are pretty happy with their purchase, but knowing this information might make that purchase a little bit easier. So thanks.